In a charming countryside estate, nestled among rolling meadows and ancient forests, there lived a young woman named Rose. She served as a housekeeper in the magnificent estate of Lord Edward, a position she held with pride and grace. Though her role was humble, Rose possessed a radiance that caught the attention of everyone who crossed her path. For several years, Rose had dedicated herself to caring for the grand estate. She was renowned throughout the countryside for her tireless work ethic and the genuine warmth she showed to all. Whether polishing the marble floors or cultivating the sprawling gardens, she approached each task with quiet dignity and an ever-present smile. Lord Edward was a distinguished gentleman, approaching his mid-30s. He had come into his wealth and property through generations of family legacy. While the community held him in high regard, many noticed a certain coldness in his demeanor. His days were filled with privilege and comfort, yet something essential seemed missing from his existence. One bright spring morning, as Rose carefully pruned the climbing vines along the garden wall, Lord Edward strolled past. He stopped abruptly, watching her graceful movements as she tended each plant with reverence. Something about her quiet devotion stirred something within him. He observed how she whispered encouragement to each bloom, treating them like cherished companions. This simple authenticity was foreign to his world of formality and pretense. "Good day, Rose," he said, his voice breaking through the birdsong, turned, startled by his presence. "Good day, sir," she responded, offering a respectful bow, her face flushing softly. "Your skill with these gardens is remarkable," he observed, searching for the right words. "They flourish under your attention." Rose's expression brightened. "Thank you kindly, sir. I believe all living things respond to genuine care and compassion, much like people do." In the weeks that followed, Lord Edward found himself wandering to the gardens with increasing frequency. He would engage Rose in thoughtful conversations, discovering her perspectives on life, her hopes for the future, and her understanding of the world. To his surprise, he found in her a wisdom and gentleness that challenged everything he thought he knew. She wasn't simply someone who worked for him. She was a woman of extraordinary character and insight. As spring turned to summer, their connection deepened. They exchanged stories and laughter, sometimes sitting together in comfortable quiet. Lord Edward discovered in Rose's company a refuge from the shallow relationships that filled his social circles. For Rose, she began to see past Lord Edward's reserved exterior to the tender-hearted man hidden beneath. One evening, during an elaborate celebration at the estate, Lord Edward couldn't look away from Rose. She wore her simple work dress rather than the lavish gowns of the invited guests, yet she radiated a beauty that eclipsed everyone present. In that moment, he understood that his feelings had evolved far beyond mere friendship. When the festivities reached their height, Lord Edward quietly led Rose away to the moonlit garden. The silver light transformed the familiar space into something enchanted. "Rose," he began, his voice unsteady with emotion. "I've come to understand that my existence feels hollow without you near. You've revealed to me the true meaning of beauty and goodness. I find myself deeply in love with you." Rose's breath caught. She searched his face and saw only sincerity reflected there. "My lord, I never allowed myself to believe that someone of your standing could care for someone like me." He gently clasped her hands. "You are so much more than your position, Rose. You're the most remarkable person I've ever encountered. Please, allow me the honor of showing you the depth of my devotion." Tears of wonder filled Rose's eyes as she nodded. "I love you as well, Edward. I have for longer than I dared admit. I thought such feelings were beyond possibility." In that magical moment, beneath the canopy of stars, Lord Edward drew Rose close and kissed her tenderly. It was a kiss that spoke of devotion, gentleness, and the promise of a shared tomorrow. The rigid boundaries of social class and convention dissolved, leaving only the truth of their hearts. The months ahead brought their relationship into full bloom. They encountered resistance from those bound by traditional thinking, but their love proved unshakable. Lord Edward took deliberate steps to ensure Rose was honored and treasured not as an employee, but as his equal partner. He welcomed her into every aspect of his life. While she brought warmth and authenticity into his world, one afternoon, as they walked hand in hand through the village, they discovered a hidden meadow bursting with wildflowers. The air carried the sweet perfume of countless blossoms. They rested beneath an ancient willow tree, its drooping branches creating a private sanctuary. Rose leaned against Edward's shoulder, experiencing a contentment she'd never known. "This meadow is extraordinary," she murmured. "Not nearly as extraordinary as you," Edward replied, pressing a kiss to her hair. He tilted her face toward his, their eyes meeting. "Rose, you've brought such happiness into my days. I cannot envision my life without you." She smiled through joyful tears. "And you've given me a love I never believed possible." They kissed once, more a kiss that conveyed their profound connection and unwavering commitment. It held within it the promise of forever. Their love story became an inspiration throughout the region. Villagers spoke often of Lord Edward and Lady Rose, whose love transcended every barrier. They stood as living proof of love's transformative power and the truth that genuine happiness springs from the heart, not from wealth or status. As time passed, their bond only strengthened. One evening, Edward arranged an intimate surprise for Rose. Had transformed the garden into a dreamlike setting with countless candles and delicate lights woven through the branches. The fragrance of night-blooming flowers perfumed the air. Rose was overwhelmed by the romantic scene. "Edward, this is breathtaking," she whispered in amazement. "Nothing less would do for you," he answered, guiding her to an elegantly prepared table. They savored an exquisite dinner together, sharing memories and laughter. Afterward, Edward led Rose to a clearing where a violinist played a haunting melody. He took her hand, and they danced beneath the infinite stars. As they swayed to the music, Edward spoke softly. "Rose, you've transformed everything for me. Yet, love has illuminated my world. I want to treasure every moment we have together." Rose's heart overflowed with emotion. "And I want nothing more than to be by your side. Edward, you've given me a life beyond my wildest dreams." They shared a tender kiss, their hearts synchronized perfectly. The kiss intensified, filled with passion and devotion, as though sealing their bond for eternity. Time seemed suspended as they lost themselves in one another, their love growing deeper with each passing heartbeat. From that night forward, their love story took on legendary status. Though they continued to face societal judgment, their commitment never faltered. Lord Edward and Lady Rose demonstrated that authentic love could overcome any challenge. And their story became a beacon of hope for all who knew them. In the months following their declaration of love, Edward and Rose's relationship flourished into a profound and passionate romance. Despite continued opposition from certain social circles, their devotion remained steadfast. Edward ensured that Rose was recognized and valued not merely as someone who once served his household, but as his beloved partner. He introduced her to his entire world, as she infused it with warmth and genuine love. Their cherished moments remained, those spent in the garden where their love first took root. One golden afternoon, as they sat on a bench, surrounded by vibrant blooms, Edward gazed at Rose with an intensity that made her pulse quicken. "Rose, do you remember our first conversation here?" he asked gently. "Of course," she answered, her eyes dancing. "It was the first time you truly saw me among these roses. And it was the first time I recognized just how extraordinary you are," Edward said, taking her hand. He brushed a strand of hair from her face, his touch sending warmth through her. "I never knew anyone could make me feel this way." Rose blushed, her heart swelling. "You've changed everything for me, Edward. You've given me a love I never dared imagine." Edward leaned closer, his breath soft against her skin. "And you've given me purpose, Rose. You are my everything." He closed the distance between them, capturing her lips in a gentle kiss. Rose's heart raced as she melted into his embrace, their kiss deepening with each moment. The world around them faded until only the two of them existed, lost in their love. As their relationship continued to deepen, Edward and Rose began dreaming together about their future. One evening, lying on a blanket beneath the stars, Edward turned to Rose, his expression mixing excitement with nervousness. "Rose," he began, his voice trembling slightly, "I've been thinking constantly about our future. I want to spend my entire life with you two, build a family and home filled with love and joy." Rose's eyes widened with delight. "Oh, Edward, that's my dream too. I want nothing more than to remain by your side, to create a life together." Edward reached into his pocket and withdrew a small velvet box. Opening it revealed an exquisite diamond ring. "Rose, will you marry me?" Tears of pure happiness streamed down Rose's face as she nodded eagerly. "Yes, Edward. Yes, 1,000 times." Edward slipped the ring onto her finger and kissed her with fervent passion. Their kiss overflowed with love and the promise of a beautiful future together. They knew their love was powerful enough to overcome any obstacle, and they were ready to face the world as partners. Though their engagement met with mixed reactions from society, Edward and Rose remained determined to prove that true love conquers all. They spent their days planning their wedding and dreaming of the life they would build together. As their wedding day approached, excitement filled the air. The entire village buzzed with preparations, and everyone eagerly anticipated the joyous celebration. On the morning of their wedding, the sky blazed brilliant blue and golden sunlight bathed the village. Rose stood before a mirror, her heart pounding with anticipation. She wore an elegant white gown that flowed gracefully around her. Delicate flowers adorned her hair, and her eyes sparkled with pure happiness. As she walked down the aisle, her eyes locked with Edward's. He stood at the altar, more handsome than ever, in his tailored suit, his eyes filled with love and admiration as he watched her approach. When Rose reached the altar, Edward took her hands in his touch gentle and reassuring. "You are the most beautiful bride I've ever seen," he whispered. "And you are the love of my life," Rose replied, her voice thick with emotion. The ceremony was beautiful, filled with heartfelt vows and promises of eternal devotion. When the moment came to seal their union with a kiss, Edward leaned in and kissed Rose deeply, their hearts beating as one. The kiss was met with cheers and applause from the guests, who were moved by the love they witnessed as the celebration continued into the night. Edward and Rose danced beneath the stars, lost in each other. They knew their love story was just beginning, and they looked forward to all the adventures awaiting them. Several years after their wedding, the grand estate rang with laughter and the sound of small footsteps. Rose and Edward were blessed with two wonderful children, a son they named Thomas and a daughter named Clara. Their children brought even greater joy into their lives, strengthening the bond between them. Thomas was an energetic child, always filled with curiosity and wonder. He inherited his mother's compassionate nature and his father's determination. Clara was gentle and thoughtful, with a deep love for nature, just like her mother. She often followed Rose into the garden, helping tend the flowers and learning about the natural world. One sunny afternoon, as Rose and Edward watched their children play among the gardens, Edward turned to Rose and smiled. "Our love has blessed us abundantly. Rose, look at our beautiful family. This surpasses everything I ever dreamed possible." Rose nodded, her eyes glistening with tears of joy. "And it's all because of you, Edward. You brought love and light into my world. I cannot imagine life without you and our children." Edward leaned in and kissed her softly. "I love you, Rose. Thank you for giving me this incredible life." Their kisses remained filled with the same passion and devotion as their very first, each one a reminder of the bond they shared. They often stole moments alone, away from the bustle of their busy lives, to cherish each other and the love they had built. One evening, after the children had fallen asleep, Edward and Rose sat by the fireplace, wrapped in each other's arms. The flickering flames cast a warm glow throughout the room, creating an intimate atmosphere. "I remember our first kiss," Edward said softly. "It felt as though time itself stopped, and nothing else in the world mattered." Rose smiled, her heart racing at the memory. "And every kiss since has been equally magical," she replied. Leaning in to kiss him gently, their kiss deepened, filled with the love and passion that had only grown stronger through the years. They knew their love was eternal, a flame that would never be extinguished. As time continued its march forward, their children grew, and so did their love. They faced life's inevitable challenges together, always supporting and cherishing one another. Their love story continued to inspire everyone around them, a testament to the power of true love and the belief that genuine happiness resides within the heart. Lord Edward and Lady Rose lived a life overflowing with love, respect, and joy. They proved to the world that love recognizes no boundaries, that the heart always finds its destined path. Their love story was told and retold through generations, a timeless tale of romance, devotion, and the transformative power of true love. And in the twilight of their years, as they sat together in their beloved garden, their hands still clasped as tightly as the day they first declared their love, they knew that their greatest achievement wasn't the grand estate or their respected position in society. Their greatest triumph was the love they had nurtured, the family they had created, and the example they had set for all who believe in the power of love to transcend any obstacle. Their story became more than just their own. It became a legacy of hope, proving that when two hearts find each other across any divide, they can create something truly eternal.